Listen, if you've clicked on this video, you've heard of Genshin Impact. It's practically inescapable. From profile pictures to full-on fan-made animations, seems like anywhere you look, Genshin will be there. So then what the hell is it all about? Why do people still talk about this game nearly 5 years after it released? Is the story really that good? What about the gameplay and exploration? I went into this game over a year ago, thinking it can't be that good, but it was. I thought this game was going to be about exploring and fighting bosses, and while that's somewhat true, what I didn't expect was this.
So, what you're trying to say is that you fell here from another world?
I mean, I suppose so, but that's like describing a car crash as a mild inconvenience. You see, what really happened is that while I was traveling from world to world with my sister, we were stopped by some unknown god who calls herself the Sustainer of Heavenly Principles, who stole my sister and put her in a cube before stealing all of my powers and trapping me in this world. Now our goal is to get our power back and find our sister, although I'm not sure she's in the best condition right now, so it's probably best to look around first. I meant like, look around for help, not for a fucking tree. After spending some time looking for secrets behind waterfalls and picking up every little thing I could find, mining wood for some reason, and breaking every piece of art we come across, we eventually found a statue of the Seven. These statues are essentially monuments to each god and their corresponding element. By interacting with the statue, we got access to the power of wind, one of the 7 elements of Tevat. And with our newly obtained power, we decided to ruin the environment and cut down the population of Philly trolls. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but what happened there was an elemental reaction in its most primitive form. This is the game's main form of combat, and I love it. It ranges from as simple as combining water and ice to freeze your enemies to automatic targeting plant missiles that deal a ton of damage and completely remove your ability to see. Like, genuinely, what am I looking at? There's hundreds of different themes you can make using different characters and different elements, all with the goal of killing anything before you as effectively as possible. My current highest damage dealt is 300,000 with a very, very deliberate setup using multiple characters and buffs. At the start, however, I had no idea what I was doing, as you could probably tell. So, to get some answers from the god of this region and potentially find our missing sister, we went to Mondstadt, the city of wind, alcoholism, and freedom.
The sky.
Welcome to the first, boss fight, or at least I think this counts as one. Well, this is certainly some, thrilling gameplay. My guy is shooting at him like a fucking attack helicopter. After scaring the dragon away and saving the people of Mondstadt, which I will say took a lot of effort, we were greeted by Kaya, one of the members of the Knights of Favonius, which is essentially Mondstadt's government. The only difference is that unlike the real government, it's run by a hot librarian who keeps flirting with us. A blonde lesbian whose only personality trait is being overworked, and also Kaya. They say that with their help we'll be able to defeat the dragon and save the city, which is cool, don't get me wrong, I'm glad to be of service, obviously, but it's just that... of course. What kind of Genshin video would this be if I didn't talk about the arguably best feature? Gambling. Don't get me wrong, the story is cool and all, but you know what's cooler? Spending 3 hours opening every single chest, collecting 160 primo gems for only 1 pull, hoping to get your waifu before she leaves you forever in 5 days, only to get a 3-star weapon. Well, surely the next roll will be a 5-star. Well, surely the next roll will be a 5-star. Well, surely... Oh, shit. Yo! They call me the gambling god. I just got a fucking legendary character in Genshin Impact. Yeah, gambling is a skill, and you wish you were as good as me. Wow, guys, I can't believe I got a legendary character. After getting my new Sino, I decided to do some exploring, spent literally 5 minutes killing one enemy for a common chest, drowned a few times, built some ice brew just with Kaya.
Freeze!
Found some abstract geometrical concept named Beth that killed everyone in my party multiple times. Talked to some more people. After making our way back to Mondstadt, we found a familiar looking bard playing music to the townspeople in the center of the city. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, yeah, that's probably why. Venti, who is the god of wind himself, explains to us that the dragon has been poisoned by the Abyss Order, a mysterious group which use moth people to do their bidding. I'm starting to think maybe we shouldn't have killed that guy back at the temple. Luckily, however, we can purify Dvalin, aka Storm Terror, by playing him some music. The lyre we have sucks though, so we'll need to get a better one. How do we do that exactly? Oh, I don't know, perhaps by stealing the holy lyre from the basement inside the church? Hey guys, welcome to my Let's Play of Metal Gear Impact, where today we will commit a cardinal sin by stealing an object of religious significance.
Who are you?
Did I just get fucking mobbed?
Freeze! What are you doing here?
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Escaping the Police to Avoid Life in Prison. After barely escaping the guards, we make our way to a tavern for hideout. Venti, however, is a complete dumbass because he decided to lead us to a place owned by Diluc, the proclaimed Dark Knight of Mondstadt. Oh boy, I sure wonder if he knows what tomfoolery we've been up to. To our surprise, however, after explaining the situation to him, he decided to help us. So, together with the Knights of Favonius and Diluc, we formed a group to save Dvalin from the Abyss Order's hands by playing music. I can't believe this is an actual plot point.
Cannot be undone.
Then why do I see sadness in your eyes? Sadness that speaks of your yearning for this song. We are communicating. Huh?
No! Don't depart! Do not be fooled by him, dear dragon.
Dude, is that the guy from Alvin and the Chipmunks?
The time has come for the dragon to serve its true master. Will you bewail when it satisfies the world?
Well, I suppose Storm Terror didn't like our music too much since he decided to fly away. Is that my sister? Yeah, so it turns out that my sister, which got absorbed by blocks, somehow became the princess of the Abyss Order in the time it took me to become a wanted criminal. Well, at least we know she's alive, I guess. After tracking Dvalin to the ruins, we lifted the curse that was preventing us from getting to him, and we're ready to save Mondstadt's dragon. Right after I get this chest.
Wow, these will come in handy.
I really wish this fight was more exciting than it is.
Aim for those blood clots.
Hesitation, goes and answer questions. So now I'll make a dream unchained. Then my heart waves and spread the wings.
Not wanting you to listen to the Abyss Order doesn't mean that you have to listen to me. Now spread your wings of freedom and go with my blessing. And so, the Storm Terror threat was quelled. Winds change their course. Someday, they will blow towards a brighter future.
After successfully saving Dvalin and the people of Mondstadt, going on a date with Amber and cleaning the aftermath of a hilly troll attack, we returned the Holy Lyre back.
That trick I used to repair the Holy Lyre. I mean, the magic I used isn't going to hold forever, you know.
Somewhat.
What?
Wait, we should probably ask Venti if he knows anything about our sister before he leaves. That was kind of our goal.
At last, Mondstadt's rodent ruler in the flesh.
Yo, Loki, I wish I was Venti right now. God damn.
That smirky wear looks out of place. Did you steal?
Yo, dude, I'd be quiet if I were you right now. Well, he's dead. Man, what is this sneako gameplay? Let me join, what the fuck? After waking up and finding Venti under a tree, we asked him about the gnosis that Signora, 8th of the Fatui Harbinger, stole. Essentially, each playable character has a vision. They're essentially a manifestation of willpower that the gods respond to, and grant the person the power of the element which closest resembles the person. Now, a gnosis, those are essentially visions that are cracked up by 100 times. They're powered using stolen energy from the dragon sovereigns, one of which, for example, being Dvalin. Only the 7 gods of the elements have them. Or, wait, should I say 6, I guess?
This is a gnosis, Wouldn't be caught dead wearing this ugly thing in public.
According to Venti, the next goal for us should be the neighboring nation of Liyue. And no, I will not be exploring Dragonspine. That shit is actually hell on earth. After walking through half of the world and navigating some very fun terrain, We made our way to Liyue Harbor, or Liyue if you're American, because according to Venti, the Rite of Dissension Festival will soon begin. A yearly festival during which the god of the region, Morax, will visit the nation and using some Eastern philosophies will guide the nation, hosted by the Tuanshan of the Liyue Qixing, Ningwang. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if anything I said just now is pronounced correctly. Alongside the other members of the Qixing, which is essentially Liyue's government, controlled by hot lesbians. There's also the mystical creatures that live in the mountains who signed a contract with Morax to protect Liyue, called the Adepti. However, during our visit, something, unfortunate occurred.
Did they just use a fucking stock sound effect?
Yeah, so he's fucking dead, and he's also a dragon, I guess.
Rex Lapis has been killed. Seal the exits.
After locking down the air to look for Morax's murderer, instead of proving our innocence, we decided to run away from the government. Again, why must I be a criminal in every place I visit? Liyue is my favorite nation because I love China, which Liyue is based off. There are countless beautiful places here, such as the rice fields, Wangshu Inn, and my personal favorite, the mountains. I decided that in order to maximize my enjoyment of collecting every single Geoculus, I would only use Lisa to climb for no reason. Wow, what a beautiful view. Man, I just really want to take a picture. Unlike the rest of Teyvat, where mystical creatures populate the landscapes in an attempt to kill us, Liyue has people, like actual people, who are very scary because they're poor. Hey guys, look, I know you're starving, but I really need those 5 Primo Gems. Shan-Yun is leaving soon and I need her. But dividing families the hard way isn't actually the most effective way to farm Primo Gems. The real money is made in the limited time events, where we have to do all sorts of fun minigames, such as collecting balls, taking pictures, and shooting up a group of defenseless hilichurls. No, guys, you don't understand. They were clearly resisting. It's a good thing I played Osu for 5 years, otherwise some of them might have survived. My favorite events, however, are the combat ones, because they make me feel like a person who has money and can actually afford the 5-star characters. Not that you need them, however, because the 4-stars exist. Shangling is a chef from Liyue who I originally met back in Mondstadt. She is also completely broken. Displaying her mastery over both fire and polearms, Shangling sends a power native dealing constant power damage with no ICD around herself. If you're a Genshin player and that sentence sent you into a panic-induced frenzy, I'm sorry. But if you're new to the game, I hope you like Shangling, because you will use her, whether you like it or not. She's become such a meme in the community that there have been multiple copypastas written around her. There's 11 million posts about her on TikTok. No matter where I go, every NPC sounds just like her. She grabs Goba. She says, Goba, get them. There is no hint of sadness in his eyes. Nothing but pure, no ICD power application. What a cruel world. Xingqiu is a man. His only purpose is to make enemies wet using his ult and his skill. He was so broken that they had to release a female 5-star version of him just so that people could waste their money. And fellas, it worked. The best part is that both Xingqiu and Shangling are from Liyue, so you can get them completely for free during the Chinese New Year event called the Lantern Rite. It's essentially a yearly celebration of the game, and is in my opinion the best event content. You can earn free skins, free 4-stars, play through a fun story, watch the Genshin community go up in flames over 3 free pulls. You could collect some mint up in a mountain. The atmosphere of the Lantern Rites are genuinely amazing, and some of my favorite moments of playing the game are from them.
Let's go! Hey, you butterfly, you too, buzzing by.
Okay, I take it back. Call me Shao the way I want to die after listening to this. Now, where were we in the story? Ah yes, we were escaping from the government with a child. Sorry, the child Tartaglia, 11th of the Fatui Harbingers. The Fatui are a collective of the strongest people on Earth that all work under Her Majesty, the Tsarita of Snezhna, or Snezhna if you can't speak Russian. Her goal is to collect each Archon's Gnosis to fight back against Celestia, an island in the sky that is controlled by the Heavenly Principles. Which is why Child is here. His goal as a Harbinger is to take Morax's Gnosis. Although I'm not sure how he's planning on doing that since, you know. Now it is our goal to host a funeral with the help of Zhongli to honor Marex's death. Unfortunately, when we were offering our items to the Geo statue of the Seven, lightning decided to strike me, so I guess he didn't like it. After making our way to the Jade Chamber up in the sky owned by Ning Wang, she told us about the Archon War. 2,000 years ago, many gods fought with each other over power. The victorious ones are the Seven as we know them today. Not all of them are the same gods from 2,000 years ago due to the cataclysm that happened 500 years ago, however, and we don't talk about the cataclysm. After talking with Ning Wang, we went to the place where Marex's dragon corpse was buried, in the Golden House, which is also where all of the money is printed on the planet.
Guys, I know that it's like donation representing Chen, but what, like, why is there a giant fucking pile of money there?
The reason we went here is since Marex's Exuvia is here, so is the Gnosis. In which case, Child is also probably here. And it seems we were right.
Swordsmanship is quite impressive. You've seen this world. You of all people should know. This should have been expected! Well then, I'll be taking Morax's Gnosis now!
Except, turns out the Gnosis wasn't there. And since the Gnosis wasn't in the Exuvia, that means that Morax is still alive, hiding somewhere among us with the Gnosis. And in a last-ditch effort to make the Geo Archon show himself, Child ended up using the so-called backup plan. Awaken a god hidden beneath the waters.
What's going on?
Osile is a very interesting looking god that Morax sealed under the mountains 2,000 years ago. However, using the Sigil of Permission, which the Fatui have been researching, he has been awakened. Oh, awakened, like the song that I'm going to use for the montage.
From the open shore I return to my soaring past the great divide. Voices on surface seem to call out all the lies. Is it still a sin if I let them in as they sail to calmer tide? I'll awaken what's asleep inside.
After defeating Osal and restoring peace to Liyue Harbor, we made our way to Zhongli for a conversation, just in time for him to give his Gnosis away to Signora. Yeah, so it turns out that he's the Geo Archon and that he wasn't killed at all. In fact, he faked his death and pretended to just be a normal person. I guess you could say he was among us this whole time. But the reason he did this is because after ruling for 2,000 years, he felt that he was ready to pass on the torch, which is why he didn't intervene during the Osal fight. He wanted to know if the Qixing and the Adepti were enough to save Liyue. Which is a crazy gamble, because if I wasn't there, I don't think it would have gone that well. But just like a true gambler, Zhongli also doesn't have any money. And he won't ever have money again, since he's giving away his Gnosis. His power to generate money will be gone along with it, which, seems like a problem. I don't know if you noticed, but the currency is literally named after him. Tevat's economy is going to be in shambles pretty soon. After spending some time during the Lantern Ride, and losing the 50-50 on Shanyun's banner,
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
we decided that it was time to go to Inazuma, the land of eternity, aka Japan. The only problem is that we can't. The country is closed to immigrants, which is why we will be forced to illegally travel by boat to sneak in. Wow, I can't believe Japan did a Genshin Impact reference. Inazuma is unironically my favorite region of all, because despite my deep appreciation for the East, I'm something of a weeb myself. Fellas, if this is propaganda for Japan, I just gotta say, it's working.
One with wind and cloud.
Inazuma, the land of eternity, is a region consisting of many islands. Narukami Island, for example, the first island we come to when visiting Inazuma. Wow, it's so beautiful. I do hope you enjoy your stay because you can't leave. The Electro Archon, Raiden Shogun, recently enforced the Sokoku Decree, which prevents anyone from leaving or entering the country. Another cause for this is the Vision Hunt Decree, where any vision holder in Inazuma must give their vision away, or else they'll be opposing the Shogun's decree. In her mind, visions are exceptions, which makes them enemies of the eternity she's trying to achieve. Many people simply gave up their visions, while others try to fight the Shogun to a duel before the throne, a fight to the death. Many are in hideout, while others are building forces to resist the decree. Which is a shame, because I don't care. Listen, I get it, but I'm mostly here to meet the Shogun herself. According to Zhongli, out of the 7 gods, the Shogun is the closest to the heavenly principles because of the whole eternity thing. Kamisato Ayaka, disappointed by our response, tells us to visit 3 people who've had their visions taken away, since that will change our mind in helping her fight against the decree. Yeah, this is so sad. I'm so sorry for these people. Look, I don't care. Could you just take me to the Shogun already?
So, my intuition was correct.
Never mind, my view has been changed. Yae Miko is, Jesus Christ, sorry about that. Yeah, I'll help you guys save Inazuma or whatever. After watching some fireworks with Yoimiya and going on a date with Ayaka.
I brought you here because I genuinely wanted to spend time with you.
I feel like this business practice should be illegal. After that, we went to a forest because she wanted to show us her dancing, which was really pretty. Hold on, she's wearing socks in the fucking water! Mods, take away his vision.
Capable of using elemental energy without a vision. You are an exception, it appears. Exceptions. The enemy of eternity.
God damn, I wish I was that sword right now.
You will be inlaid upon this statue.
Okay. Oh shit, wait, no, that's not good. Never mind. Welcome to the Raiden Shogun boss fight, where we will fight her consciousness. That's right, the real Raiden is imbued inside the Musa no Hitatachi. Meanwhile, the Raiden in the world outside is just an imposter. A puppet constructed by A to control Inazuma while she meditates in the plane of Euphemia to maintain her immortality. Her way of achieving eternity. Despite not seeing the outside world for 500 years though, that doesn't stop her from completely kicking my ass. Oh shit, Tomo with the big save, let's go. Maybe we should run away for now. Well, I suppose what better time to explore the other islands Inazuma has to offer than after becoming a wanted criminal. Again, Narukami Island is an island I'm banished from. It is also the only island that actually has civilization. Of course, it has a few problems, such as the Shogun, but aside from the organized crime, this place is actually really beautiful. In my opinion, it is the best Inazuma has to offer. For example, the Grand Narukami Shrine. It's my personal favorite area of the island for no reason.
You alright, little one?
Oh my fucking god, no I'm not.
Nervous.
It is also where all the fanfiction is written. Yae Miko, the head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine, is a mangaka who wrote some of my favorite works, such as Life Made Me a Fighter When I Just Want to Be a Writer, or perhaps, the good thing about being reincarnated as a hilly troll is that I only need to eat some steadies to become stronger. She also teased the furry and force feminized them. God, I wish that were me.
Goro has a beautiful tail, don't you think? Doesn't it make you want to stroke it?
Honestly, the only thing that could make this island better is if I wasn't fucking banished from it. And also if the Kamisato clan wasn't wildly classist. Actually, never mind. They're just like me for real. This is the problem with the lower fucking bracket. Just like in real life. They're fucking stupid! They're dumb!
Make sure windows are closed.
I hate poor people, and I hate these fucking Dota players. Holy shit, tax the poor. Tax the fucking poor. Make it so that they can't play the fucking game with me. Make it so that they can't afford a fucking computer and internet connection. So that I don't get matched with fucking lobotomized retards. Hanazuka is up next, and is probably dangerous to live next to due to the slightly concerningly large furnace. My favorite part of the island is hearing the crunchy audio when exploring next to the furnace. It is also where all of the soldiers against the Vision Hunter decree are trained. Are we sure that the furnace being so close doesn't have any negative long-term effects? Tsurumi Island is what happens when you let horror game developers work on Genshin. The fog covers every single point of this island, and there are no people here. At all. Unless you count the ghosts, which there's a lot of. Every single day the chests here are spawned randomly and the fog resets. So unless you want to get lost in it, you need to stand next to the light. Guys, why is the sky red? I don't like this anymore. Watatsumi Island is really beautiful and has next to no enemies, unless you count the puzzles. It is run by the divine priestess and descendant of the Sangonomiya clan, Sangonomiya Kokomi. Can we have a single normal name for once? This place is the main base of operation for all the soldiers against the Vision Hunt decree, with their commander Goro. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Outside of the Narukami Shrine, Watatsumi Island is my favorite place in Inazuma, and the dating sim might have something to do with it. Excuse me, who the fuck is this? I mean, this is kind of like endgame content, right?
The wait is over, my comrade.
I just hope you can afford all these mercs you
Retreat! All forces, retreat!
After we won the fight on Watatsumi Island and spent the next couple of days there, we found out that the army has been getting supplies from a secret sponsor. That sponsor? The Fatui. How the fuck did Kokomi not think to check who was giving them the supplies? Turns out that Scaramouche, number 6 of the Fatui Harbingers, has been supplying the Watatsumi army with delusions, which are essentially a weaker version of what Tartaglia used back in the Golden House when fighting us. It makes you crazy strong, but the problem is that it's at the cost of your life. The whole reason the Vision Hunt decree was implemented in the first place is because the Fatui manipulated the Raiden puppet so that they could destabilize Inazuma, cause a war, and create a market for delusions. With the help from Yaemiko and Kuchosara, we decided to tell Raiden, but it seems we weren't the first ones there.
The way people charge in here as they please. So uncivilized. Ah, so you came to expose my crimes in front of the Shogun? I'm just a Snezhnayan diplomat. I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about. For what it's worth, I've grown tired of seeing you around as well. But I didn't have you down as someone quite so foolhardy. Charging into Tenshukaku uninvited and lecturing me in front of the Shogun wasn't the brightest move. Don't you think it's time you stopped digging? I'm not sure you realize quite how much distance there is between us, both in status and in strength.
I challenge you to a duel before the throne!
Proceed.
My, you're full of surprises today. So you've learned to make the law of the land work for you too. I'll admit that I never expected to be in a situation where the two of us were on equal footing. You are aware that the loser must die. Are you sure this is what you want? Then I will deign to share this last dance with you. Till death do us part! I am a Snezhnayan diplomat. You know what happens if you lay a finger on me, I swear. If you strike me, filthy rats! Follow me!
There will always be those who dare to break the lightning's law.
Wave goodbye to the past when love and faith and
Dear me, aren't you cutting it rather close? Surely you don't think your ambition alone is enough to shake A's will, do you?
You're my guide. Abolish the Vision Hunt decree.
You've lost, eh?
Yes, I have.
Why can you not trust your people and in the power of their ambition?
A's idea of eternity was always for things to be the same as they once were, no doubt after losing her sister, Makoto, in the Cataclysm 500 years ago. However, we proved her wrong. With everyone's ambitions combined, we managed to shake A's will and change her perspective. Afterwards, she abolished the Vision Hunt decree, returned all the visions, and had a tantrum on Yamiko's lap, which I'm not jealous or anything. And for once, we didn't actually lose the Gnosis. We finally got to hand over the Fatui. More so considering the Senora is dead. Is what I would say if Yamiko didn't give the Electro Gnosis to the Balladeer like 10 minutes ago in order to protect us when we originally found out about delusions. Oh, well, at least I guess we saved the nation? After meeting up with her at the Grand Narukami Shrine, we asked her about the next stop on our list of nations. She suggested we go to Sumeru. And now that we have our next goal, all we have to do is, leave Inazuma. Welcome to Sumeru, the nation of wisdom and many questions, such as, what are the Aranara? Why can the people of Sumeru not dream? Why the fuck is the country divided by a big wall separating the desert and the academia? Why does Sino not have nipples, and am I gay now? Sumeru is the nation of wisdom because they worship the previous Dendro Archon, Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and in an attempt to make contact with her, scholars from the academia will get as high as possible off that Zaza to try and establish a connection with her. Or, not her, but Irminsul, a big ass tree which is where her consciousness is. The story is 14 hours long, and that's without including the 11-hour-long side quest featuring Veggie Tales. Jesus fucking Christ.
I can be your saving way out, but I don't wanna take it. I'm just gonna shake it. And this whole fight from my private journey. There's no empathy, but I can be your saving way.
Sumeru is a beautiful nation with many forests and not so beautiful creatures. It's also unreasonably big and has multiple 10-hour-long side quests. Recently, however, withering zones have started showing up, and the disease known as Elazar has become harder to suppress. The withering completely ruins any environment it's in, and no one seems to know the cause. Meanwhile, Elazar is a manifestation of the withering on a person, visually looking like dark hardened scales on one's body. And if you need a quick visual representation, don't worry, I've got you. The reason Sumeru is known as the Land of Wisdom is because of the technology Greater Lord Rukkhadevata left behind. Despite her being dead and there being a new Archon, Sumeru's people practically ignore Lesser Lord Kusanali and treat her as a mistake, a worse version of Rukkhadevata. Because for her to exist, that must mean that the previous Archon had left them. The Akasha Terminal, which is now controlled by the Academia, Sumeru's government, can answer any questions you might have, and may or may not read your thoughts. Everyone has access to them. Unless you're from the desert, in which case get fucked, I guess. A minor side effect of the Akasha Terminal is the government. It's all fine till the government starts reading your mind. Not to worry, because if they did read my mind, all they'd find is 200 gigabytes of Rule 34 Ultra Kill. It's their loss. Of course, not all knowledge is available, such as what happened in Yujing Tiaras during the Rite of the... But luckily, any information can be gained using canned knowledge, which are a peculiarly shaped object one must insert into themselves for any potential information they might need. They're not legal, but it's not like that has stopped us in the past. So now our goal is to solve Sumeru's crisis, find out what happened to Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and help Lesser Lord Kusanali, which I will do right after 100% every area in Sumeru. This might take a For the most part, I've been talking about the story in this video, but that's not all Genshin has to offer. In fact, my favorite part of the game is the combat. There are hundreds of different teams you can make, and optimizing each one is super fun. It's even more fun to wait 8 months for a character humans just because they work well with your team. But don't worry, while you're waiting, you can at least pre-farm for the character. Each character uses a weapon, and there are multiple weapon types. You need to level each of their talents so that they actually deal damage, and all that can take many months because of my favorite system called Resin. Resin is a resource you accumulate passively over time. You get 1 Resin every 8 minutes, and to get the drops from a boss takes 40. You You then have a random chance for the game to either royally fuck you and give you 2 boss drops, or if you get lucky, potentially get 4. In total, to level a character to level 90, which is the max level as of today, you need 46 drops, so it could potentially take you almost a week to only get the materials to ascend the character, and that's excluding the materials it takes to level talent, the XP, the Mora, and the weekly boss drops as well. All of a sudden, waiting 8 months for a character to rerun doesn't seem that bad. And all of that is without mentioning artifacts, which are just yet another way for the game to fuck you. Most characters essentially want crit damage, crit rate, attack percent so that they can actually deal damage, and energy recharge so that you can use their abilities. Seems pretty simple. That's until you get your 7th HP goblet in a row with the completely wrong stats, because the chance to get a flat defense substat which does literally nothing is the same as getting your crit rate roll. Do you perhaps have a good chance with one bad substat? Just one! Don't worry, the game will find a way to give you flat HP every single fucking time. It could literally take years of farming the same one domain, gambling every time, hoping to get one good piece. This game has actually given me Stockholm Syndrome and I can't stop playing it. Getting a good artifact that has 4 slap stats with all of them rolling into a crit has a lower chance of happening than me getting a girlfriend, and I have 1,000 hours in this game.
And if you need more proof, by the way, that the artifact system absolutely sucks, this is my free C6 build that I've been farming for like literally just a couple of months. That I didn't actually get C6 for because this game fucking hates me. These are the artifacts. And I'm rank 100 worldwide. And I gotta say, it feels pretty good, because I know that these artifacts are never gonna get replaced. They're never gonna get power crept. Unlike a certain other artifact set that came out recently. So yeah, that's that.
Practically any character can be made into a viable DPS, so don't pull for meta. Pull for who you like, or else the game will ruin your life. Even a character like Dea, who is arguably one of the worst characters in this game, could be made good with units like Xingqiu or Yulan.
Witness the power of gloves. Gloves off.
Where are the rain swords? Okay, side note, she's the only power character in the game whose skill can't even burn grass. Like, how was she released as a character? But it's not like you need to actually build anyone well to complete the story though. Somehow I managed to kill a god in like 2 attacks. Speaking of which, we should probably stop that from happening, huh? Back in Sumeru, we decided to attend the Sub-Zero's Festival, a festival dedicated to dancing and praising the Lesser Lord Kusanali. While most of the Academia believes her to be worse than Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, even she still has some devout followers. On day 1, we met up with Dunyarzad, walked around the market, and picked up some candy. In the box we chose though, we unfortunately got Lizard Tail, but oh well. Better luck next time. We ended up running into some criminals, but with the help of Dea, Dunyarzad's bodyguard, we managed to escape. After talking to her, we found out that she has Alazar and that it's practically terminal. Not to dwell on the sadness though, we made our way to the stage to watch Neela's performance. However, turns out that the grand stage of the Academia, where the same people controlling the Akasha are against performative art, believing it to be useless and a complete contrary to Sumeru's strive for knowledge. Unfortunately, we don't have much power over them, so despite wanting to see Neela perform, we can't do much about it. So we went to bed early, ready to figure out what to do next.
All connections have been secured to construct the most stable framework possible. The project has entered its most critical phase. Power has begun to flow from...
On day 1, we met up with Dunyarzad, who was a little bit tired and walked around the market and picked up some candy. In the box we chose though, we fortunately got some Setias. We ended up running into some criminals, but with the help of Dea, Dunyarzad's bodyguard, we managed to escape. After talking to her, we found out that she has Alazar and that it's practically terminal. Not to dwell on the sadness though, we made our way to the stage to watch Neela's performance. However, it turns out that the grand stage of the Academia, who are the same people controlling the Akasha, are against performative art, believing it to be useless and a complete contrary to Sumeru's strive for knowledge. Unfortunately, we don't have much power over them, so despite wanting to see Neela perform, we can't do much about it. So we went to bed ready to figure out what to do next.
Observing a modest drop in the output of Jnana energy, but values still remain within normal parameters.
Continue to monitor for variances in the data and find the cause as soon as possible.
On day 1, after a long night of sleep, we were still pretty tired, but we met up with Dunyarzad, walked around the market, and picked up some candy.
Oh, congratulations! Number 4 is indeed Sunsetia.
He always had incredible luck.
Number 1 is Lizard Tail. Number 2 is Hierophant. Number 3 is Lavender Bell, and number 4 is Lani Kabuto.
That couldn't have been luck. How is this possible? I packed all those boxes this morning, and they've been sealed ever since. You couldn't have known beforehand.
Tell us what's going on! Since when did you get superpowers? Traveler?
Who the fuck is that? After chasing the figure we saw, we met up with Nahida, aka Lesser Lord Kusanali, who gave us a knowledge capsule. And after way too much time trying to figure out what happened, it all made sense. People thought that Sumeru citizens couldn't dream in the past. They could. The Akasha Terminal just harvested their dreams, causing people to be exhausted from it mentally. We still don't know why they did it, but now that we know we're in a dream, all we have to do is find the host of the dream and wake them up. Someone with room temperature IQ who doesn't have thinking capabilities.
Am I dreaming? Huh?
Ah, right, it's Nilu.
Since we're in a dream, let's make this final dance of Sub-Zeros as beautiful as we can.
Phew, okay, thank God we figured that out. After meeting up with Nahida in disguise, I guess she can do that since she's the god of wisdom. That relatable moment when you fucking decide to possess a person. We decided to walk the streets of Sumeru, although it was quiet. A bit too quiet, perhaps.
What are all these people doing here at this hour of the night?
Ah, the triumphant hero returns at last.
The people of Sumeru City. What have you done to them?
As you can see, all these lovely people now believe this traveler is a hero who has just saved the world.
You're the outcast, expelled from the academia.
Indeed I am. Although these days they tend to call me the Doctor.
You need to get out of here. What? That guy's a Fatui Harbinger! We can't just leave you here! Nor can I abandon the people of Sumeru!
I see. You appear to have overridden their mental faculties with your own consciousness. To possess such a powerful mind, you must be the god of wisdom.
After escaping and reuniting with Nahida, we made our way to smoke some Zaza to relax. Although that might not have been the smartest decision. Hypatia, who we originally met when entering Sumeru for the first time, claimed that after months of work, all of a sudden she skipped like 2 steps of connecting to Irminsul and said that she would help us do the same. We were doubtful, but still decided to give it a shot. However, it would seem that we accidentally made contact with someone else.
It took 3 betrayals for me to finally understand. The world is just an elaborate tapestry of lies. The first to betray me was a god. My creator. My mother. The second was a human. My family. My friend. The third was one exactly like me. A hope for the future. A fledgling barely out of the nest. Powerless before his mortality, he broke his promise to me. Your era is coming to an end.
Yes, it turns out that Scaramouche is now building a fucking Evangelion to become a new god with the help of Dotori. While attempting to make a puppet of herself, Ryzen ended up creating Scaramouche, who she deemed as a failure. But as she didn't want to destroy him, she let him exist as a new human. That is, until the Fatui took him. The Academia of Sumeru love knowledge, but now that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata is gone, they want a new god. They don't believe that Nahida would be good enough, which is why they decided to create a god instead. Who gave them the idea? Who else other than the Fatui? And Dotori, who was previously a student at Sumeru, modified the Akasha to harvest dreams from people so that they could use that energy to power the fucking Neon Genesis Evangelion that Scaramouche was using. That, paired with the Electronosis he got from when Yaimiko rescued us, he was on the verge of becoming unstoppable. Which is why we had to put an end to him, and... Listen, there is 8 more hours of this story after this point, explaining literally any question you could possibly have. But in order to maximize your retention, I will summarize as best as I can. It's time to beat some robot ass.
Anything but the nonsense!
Irminsul is still power of another Gnosis, we may now finally understand the last memory of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. This is the last memory of my predecessor.
In helping King Deshret to eradicate forbidden knowledge, she exhausted her strength, and her form became that of a small child. How strange. Now that I think...
Welcome to Irminsul, the Tree of Knowledge, which supports literally the entirety of Teyvat. If this thing was gone, everything in Teyvat would be gone with it. Except that might not be too far-fetched, since it's extremely polluted. Polluted with forbidden knowledge. Forbidden knowledge is something incomprehensible. Something the people of this world aren't supposed to know. It makes people go crazy and it destroys anything it touches. Most of the forbidden knowledge was cleared when Greater Lord Rukkhadevata sacrificed herself to purge it 500 years ago. Not all of it could be cleared, however, since she herself is not pure. So for us to permanently get rid of the Withering, Elazar, and restore Irminsul back to health, you probably understand what we need to do.
In my dreams, everybody would also dream after they fell asleep. I gradually understood that these indescribable and constantly changing things are the most profound things in the world. Only they can completely repel the madness. Only dreams can awaken consciousness from the deepest darkness. I'm the one who posed this question, yet also the one who sought a solution. Saving the world with the dreams of the people used to be my answer. And now, you've also found your own answer, and I shall return all the dreams to the people. Goodbye, people of Sumeru. May you be blessed tonight with the sweetest of dreams.
We've just saved the world, right? So why am I crying? Huh? That sound... Traveler! Paimon!
I've been waiting here far too long. But finally I have the chance to be alone with you. All the precious time I wasted has finally paid off.
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, man, we get it. Oh, the Gnosis, or whatever, dude. God, I hate him. Nahida, why are you even listening to him? Yeah, so Nahida traded both the Electro-Gnosis, which we took back from Scaramouche, and the Dendro-Gnosis for some knowledge about the sky and how it's fake or some shit. Which is crazy because we learned that for free back in 1.0.
It's all a gigantic hoax. A lie.
Did I mention this is from a limited event back in 1.0 that was never mentioned in the game afterwards? Yeah, cool stuff. You know what, Nahida, I liked you up until this point, but I take it back. You'll never be as cool as Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. After saving Sumeru, I think at least, the corrupt sages who were working with the Fatui were overthrown and we celebrated our victory, despite the fact that we lost the Gnosis. Afterwards, I accidentally walked into the beginning of a 12-hour quest where we talked to some vegetables and played music with them, which was actually really beautiful. Outside of the Sumeru and Fontaine Archon quest, this is the only one that almost made me cry. It's quite good. After spending some more time in Sumeru, and not 100%ing the desert, I'm not doing that shit, we made our way to the Nation of Justice, Fontaine, featuring a beautiful environment with great aquatic life, and also the French. This country is based on France, which automatically makes it the worst. It's also Genshin's version of a water level, because we all love those. How did they manage to combine two of the worst things in the world into one region? But just to make sure I hated this place as much as possible, the moment we came into the country, we were assaulted by the Hydro Archon herself, Farina de Fontaine, where she threatens us to court immediately. This is precisely why no one likes the French.
Your pain floods into the sky. Meet the royal rise. Here comes the finale.
Let the mighty be humble.
The game has just begun. Turn me upside down. Can you hear the darkness howling?
For the sinner, the curtain call has come.
All Fontanians are born with sin, and when the prophecy comes true, the waters shall rise and dissolve all of its people, leaving only the Hydro Archon alone, weeping on her throne for all eternity. That is the prophecy of Fontaine, which was trauma dumped onto us by some cat girl the moment we arrived. This is Lynette. She and her twin brother Linny host a magic show here in Fontaine. We were originally going to go see it, but it seems that we got interrupted.
As you can all see, 2 unfamiliar travelers have arrived in our nation. I've long heard of the turmoil and chaos you left in your wake as you visited other nations. But I welcome you nevertheless. No, I have come to receive you personally. I, Focalor, hereby welcome you to the nation of Hydro and acknowledge the value and significance of your trip. Now, you may rejoice in this. Oh, what's with these looks? Perhaps the welcoming ceremony still isn't enough? What else should I say then? I have determined that there will be an epic duel between myself and this traveler from another land.
Bro, what the fuck? What did I do?
A duel in court!
Can I like call up my lore about that? Like, what the fuck is that?
You mean you're going to put us on trial?
Oh, we have reason to put you on trial. It's obvious, isn't it?
Why, is the fucking hex code of my skin color slightly different? Is that why? Like, what the fuck?
No one is permitted to release any flying objects within Fontaine city limits during the first 3 days of each month. You are clearly guilty of violating this law, no? Ta-da!
There. As you can all clearly see, Paimon should be classified as, well, something like a balloon. This
Yeah, and she has the fucking IQ of one as well.
long. It was just that no one could see it before.
Amusing. Very amusing, Linny. Just the sort of unexpected twist that I enjoy. With you here, today's performance can finally be called complete. In which case, consider the matter of your trial resolved. The god of justice will not bring charges against an innocent person.
After Linny rescued the situation by calling Paimon a balloon, we were dismissed by Frina, after which we traveled the Aquabus and made our way to Opera at the Clés. This is the main opera of Fontaine, but its main other use is as a courtroom, where with the help of Judge Neuvillette, the Hydro Dragon Sovereign, and the Oratrice Mécanique d'Annalise Cardinal, court trials are held for all to see. This is what makes Fontaine the nation of justice. To them there's no separation between an act and the real case. Not only that, but the Oratrice is used as an energy source, taking the emotions that people have during the trial and turning them into energy called indemnitium. This being a courtroom, however, is pretty convenient. Golly, I sure hope nothing whimsical happens here.
I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already guessed our next magic trick. A swap! Ta-da!
Imagine like a fucking animal falls on top of this thing. Is that also part of the show or no? And now he's gonna come alive, guys, right?
A murder mystery breaks out with Linny being the prime suspect, and while the traveler scrambles to collect evidence of him being innocent, after an act of confidence where Frina exclaims Linny was the murderer, when faced with legally filing charges against him, all of a sudden she is not so sure anymore.
Please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Linny and his associates, and that you are pressing charges?
Huh? I just think that he... Well, I think it might be a little early to talk about formally pressing charges.
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense. Looks like she's gonna personally deliver justice.
Of course, that is until the people peer pressure her into doubling down.
I mean, of course, my dear people. But what excites me even more than the obvious truth before our eyes is the opponent I'll be facing. That's right. I mean you, traveler.
Now we must face Farina in court, proving that Linny wasn't the murderer. There's a lot that happens here, but essentially Linny's assistant, Cowell, you know, the guy who got comedically squashed, he tries to dissolve a woman into water using the water of the Primordial Sea, which is supposed to dissolve the person, leaving nothing behind. But since the woman was from Mondstadt, the water had no effect. So, with some far-fetched logic and bringing up the woman who was supposedly dead into the courtroom, we managed to solve the case, proving Linny innocent. But more importantly, we now have proof that the people of Fontaine can be dissolved, just like the prophecy said. However, what is Farina's reaction to this? Is she perhaps scared shitless like she should be because the prophecy that will kill everyone seems more real by the second? No, of course not. She's just embarrassed that she was wrong.
As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
But regardless of the, you know, water dissolving thing, dude, what is Child doing here? Apparently whenever we met him in Fontaine, he just randomly lost his hydro powers. Usually people lose their powers from their vision when their ambition dies, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. He tells us that when he was young, he fell into an unknown abyss and met Skirk, his master. That's where he learned all of his abilities. She didn't tell him why she trained him, other than the fact that he awakened it. Not that we know what it is, but according to Child, when he fell into the abyss, he had a dream that he was surrounded by water, and in front of him appeared a giant whale. Investigating his past and figuring out what's happening to him in his vision was the main reason he arrived in Fontaine. Well, other than the whole Gnosis thing. But now that his hydrovision doesn't work, he decided to just give it to us. Kinda crazy to just give away the source of your powers, but okay, I guess. Anyways, since we proved our innocence back at the court, we proceed to explore through Fontaine. The Arrhenius Forest is a bit familiar. I feel like I've seen this tree somewhere before. The Beryl region, the Litva region, and the Nostra region are all really boring. That's because Fontaine's primary exploration is underwater. It's also really gorgeous and super fun. That is if you hate yourself. Because when you're underwater, normal rules don't apply. So any weapon you've been farming for literally doesn't matter. Instead you just whip people. Wow, truly incredible gameplay. But don't worry, you can also steal the souls of the damned and use them as your own weapons. My personal favorite is the Blubber Beast. Not because he does anything special, in fact it's very mediocre, but because to get their unique abilities you must whip them to death. In other words, if you're using this thing, you're fucked up. Mods, sentence him to 10 years of exploring Dragonspine. All regions of Fontaine are pretty similar. Well, other than the Fontaine Research Institute of Kinetic Energy Engineering region, which is a completely normal area with nothing out of the ordinary, other than the boss here makes you jump like you're on a fucking pogo stick. But regardless of where you are in Fontaine, there will definitely be something to interest you. Perhaps it would be the Melusines, or the beautiful underwater environments. Man, the prophecy is so stupid. Why are people scared of the water? It's so nice down here. Oh, right, it's probably because they fucking dissolve. Speaking of which, we should probably solve that. After teaming up with Navia, the owner of Spina di Rosula and Poisson, who also helped us solve Lenny's case, we caught the criminal behind the disappearances case that Fontaine has been dealing with for 20 years. Turns out, he had a lover who was dissolved by the primordial seawaters 20 years ago during an underground expedition, and in an attempt to bring her back has been experimenting with the water. It's probably good we found that out, because Child was under trial for the disappearances case despite having nothing to do with it. So, at least now we can be sure that he's innocent. Well, like he's still a Fatui, but he's not guilty for this case.
Guilty. Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning? So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Child was sent to the Fortress of Meripede, and since the Fortress of Meripede doesn't have any form of contact with the world outside, in order to figure out what's happening, a Fatui Harbinger called the Knave wanted to have a diplomatic discussion with Farina. Oh? Who's the Knave? Oh, you know, she's just the... Father. The Knave, aka Arlecchino, aka Father, is the current owner of the House of the Hearth, an orphanage where Linny and Lynette are from. And despite the fact that she's a Fatui Harbinger, an organization in Snezhna, she is originally from Fontaine and wants to protect the nation as much as anyone else, since, you know, her children kind of live here. But after her request of getting Tartaglia back from the prison failed, Neuvillette had a different proposal. Traveler, I need you to eat my cake. What the fuck? After absolutely devouring Neuvillette's cake, we got sent to the fortress of Merpede with false charges to investigate if Child was doing okay and find out any secrets that the fortress might have. I guess what I'm trying to say is, hey guys, welcome to my playthrough of The Escapists, wherein we will do many regular household chores, such as working at the refinery, exploring the vents at 4 AM, and finding out what happened to Child using the vision he gave us. The fortress is an isolationist cruel dictatorship where the only form of currency other than Linny is coupons. The fortress is located at the bottom of the sea and is run by Rio the Slay. What in the fuck are these names? After spending a week or so at the fortress, teaming up with Linny and Lynette, who were sent here to explore any secrets, and spending some time figuring out the local legends, we found out that Tartaglia escaped through the vents. However, when Linny's brother, Fremine, an experienced diver, tried to follow his path, something unfortunate happened.
What the?
The water from the primordial sea is leaking. At small dosages, it's enough to cause a headache, but make contact with it long enough and you'll dissolve.
I can't die here. I have to push on.
Luckily, Chlorint, an experienced duelist, was there long enough to rescue him. Wait, why was she there? It turns out that the fortress's purpose is to contain the primordial sea that is located right underneath it. Although it doesn't look like that's working.
You're just in time. But be ready to run.
This won't hold it for long. Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense.
After fighting him, he told us that Frina will be meeting up with the Knave and that we must protect her. Man, isn't she like an Archon? Nahida managed to defeat an Evangelion, meanwhile Frina is scared of a conversation. Wow, she's just like me. Lonely, no friends, and scared to die. In fact, we're actually pretty sure that Frina isn't an Archon at all, because according to the Knave, Frina doesn't carry her gnosis with her, and actually appears to be cursed. All of this combined with the fact that the primordial sea levels are unstable and are actively rising at times, Fontaine is on the verge of collapse. Navia's base at Poisson was the first to get caught, but it won't be the last. Fontainians are enraged, practically demanding answers from Farina about what she will do to protect them. But with no answer to give, she ran away to Poisson to visit the site of the recent accident.
That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Oh god, I think they're onto us. It's probably best to run away from them.
Hurry, they're almost here!
Wow, well, this is romantic. Nothing like talking to a god in a rusty fishing cabin.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. All my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way. and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all.
This was Farina's last chance to tell us anything she wanted to, but now it's too late. Welcome to Farina's trial. Trial for being a false god. We've been working on this plan for a long time now. All of the people who were after Farina were simply Navia's employees, and this whole plan was made just to get Farina to where she is now. With no way out, she would either have to fight Chlorines in a duel to prove her innocence or stand trial. And of the two, for a god, she sure does fear death.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
So, she chose to stand trial. Our claim is that Farina is a false god.
I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Farina's first defense. If she's not a god, then how was she alive for the past 500 years? That's because she's been cursed with immortality, or is a race of a long-living species.
Flame, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Farina's second defense, even if she is just a cursed human, what decides her status is her authority, such as the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale or the production of indemnitium from it. But Farina has proven she has no control over it, because during Child's trial where he was guilty, even she was surprised, which means that the authority she claims to have, she doesn't.
You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses.
For her to easily prove that she is in fact the god she claims to be, all we needed for her to do is to show her powers. Yet, she can't. Not only does she not possess godly powers, she can't even wield the power of Hydro. Farina claims that if she is not the Hydro Archon, then who is? Luckily, we don't even need to answer that. For her to prove herself as the god, all she would have to do is to touch the water of the Primordial Sea. If she dissolves, she is a human, but if she lives, she is an Archon.
Due to the inherent risk of the
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewing? If you are present, Miss Siegewing, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
That should be enough. As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater.
And as shown by the results, she is in fact susceptible to seawater, just like any person is.
Wait, what did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Except, the concentration of seawater here was much smaller than of that which would dissolve a human. We're not trying to kill Farina, just get her to tell us why she's been lying so that we can save Fontaine.
We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
For the first time in Fontaine history, a death sentence has been given out.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremenade to try and find the missing slate!
And now, with the ancient slates that have been discovered, we can make sense of Fontaine's entire history and explain what has been happening with Farina over the last 500 years.
Then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
Fontainians aren't real people. They're all Oceanids. the previous Hydro Archon, whose creatures were the Oceanus longed for land, and as such, with the power of the Primordial Sea, she has given them the form of people with one condition. If they touch the Primordial Seawater, they shall revert back to their original form, that of an Oceanid. Fontaine's sin that everyone is born with was caused because the previous Hydro Archon created a new life form without permission from Celestia, the residence of the gods controlled by the heavenly principles. Unfortunately, by trying to escape the prophecy that we all feared, it seems all we did was playing to its hand. The third slide depicts the people of Fontaine on trial by the Hydro Archon, which is where we are.
The people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the Court of Justice.
In truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
And the fourth slide shows the people of Fontaine all submerged in water. All of Fontaine will be drowned, as it states. However, while we thought the seawater leaking from the fortress of Merpede meant the prophecy was coming, all it really was a warning for the future, the root cause of which was the will we saw in Chad's dreams, the reason he was given a guilty verdict at trial, for awakening it. Now, the way to stop the prophecy would be to beat the shit out of the whale, since that would go against it, but that doesn't seem doable. Not when this is happening, at least.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
No, I still need answers.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor, who is the real Hydro Archon, came up with a plan to fool everyone, fool the heavenly principles, fool the prophecy, but to do so, she needed to fool herself first. When the previous Hydro Archon left her with the problem of saving her people,
That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated.
It was time to come up with a solution.
I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time.
Focalor always dreamed of being a human. In her eyes, being a human is to be part of the greatest opera known to man.
After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being.
Farina was Focalor's plan to deceive the heavenly principles.
Anyway, so then I cursed her. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die.
Instead, she was forced to play the role of the Hydro Archon, pretend that she was a god, meanwhile being no more than a cursed human, playing the role of a god for 500 years. For if she shared her secret with anyone, the plan would fail.
You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity.
For 500 years, without sharing a single thing.
Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
All right. Deuteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family, too. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is. Lady Farina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you in this manner.
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor for us both. I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest early today, too.
It's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this. I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Dioteria, almost 20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer, a descendant of a line most ardent.
Are you crying?
Really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more.
I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
With the indemnitium it generated, it could power all of Fontaine, but that was a small percentage.
The vast majority has been, had to be, accumulated to enact this death sentence.
The Oratrice was supposed to kill the Hydro Archon and return the power of the Sovereign Dragon that the Gnosis had used back to them. But of course, returning that power meant...
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
Yet, she didn't see it that way. More so as the God of Justice, she always felt it was right to return the power where it belonged, even if it was at the cost of her own life.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Iudex Nervalette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
We must mete out punishment to that beast.
After the execution, with the new powers Nervalette gone, there was only one thing left.
Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
To beat some whale ass.
Count me in!
Stay cool. Face your guilt!
Proper send-up!
Faced with death, I find myself a little afraid.
This is where you fall.
Where in the fuck did she just send Child? And also, did she just, like, eat the whale? Apparently, this is Skirk, Child's master. Skirk's master is the one who made the all-devouring narwhal and kept it as a pet, although we don't really know who the master themselves is. The Fowl, the Visionary, Gold, or a Ryan Daughter. Oh yeah, we know Ryan Daughter. She's that one character who was featured in a 1.0 quest and never mentioned again afterwards. Yeah, that one's a classic. Oh, and also we beat the whale's ass too much, and now Fontaine is most likely flooded.
Surface has most likely been thrown into chaos.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
Fontaine is saved, and now finally, after all this time, I can adhere to my true calling and become the best Finch WoW player in the world. Get fucking owned, loser. After saving Fontaine and all of its people, Nivelette decided to give the Gnosis to Arlecchino, since outside of being from Fontaine and wanting to save the nation, her other goal as a Harbinger was to get the Gnosis. And believe it or not, this is the one time where I won't blame someone for giving away the Gnosis, since according to Skirk it would bring disaster, and I'm not trying to save another nation. With that, after answering some questions we had, Nivelette proposed that we go to Natlan, the nation of fire. Which is great, except for the part where it doesn't exist yet. As of writing this, Natlan literally doesn't exist yet. I'm sure the story will be great as always. In fact, by the time the video comes out, it might have concluded already. I will probably be tweeting about it on my Twitter, so go follow me on there. But since these videos take me like 8 months to make, I can't really write anything about Natlan. In fact, despite my effort to write about as much as possible about the things I love in Genshin, there are tons of things that I completely miss that I just can't fit into a video, such as the Dead by Daylight game mode. Dude, I can't believe we have Sino and Tainari in the same lobby, except Tainari's not the Predator this time. Or the 10-hour Races Genie quest. There are many things that the game has to offer, and to fully experience them, my advice is to just play the game. But before I leave, I have a few words of advice. Keep farming the Emblem domain for that 50 CD power goblet. Your Shangling will thank you.
I'm getting my tranks. Yeah, I'm gonna trank to it while I riz. What the fuck did I just say, man? Like, what the? It's not fucking English. It's not.